Hey everybody, welcome to the Midweek Check-In. Listen, I know for the past couple of weeks we've been spending some time learning about how God is moving in your lives and the lives of the people all around you, and that's been really, really fun. But it's time to get back to paying attention to our reading plan. Before I get into what we'll be reading this week, I want to give you a little nugget that we got from one of our readers out here at Living Word. Her name is Carolyn. You might know her. She is just an awesome 80-year-old woman who can run circles around all of us. She got some nuggets and some tidbits from Ezekiel as she was working her way through that last week. In Ezekiel 46, 9 and 10, I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. When the people of the land come before the Lord at the appointed festivals, whoever enters by the north gate to worship is to go out the south gate, and whoever enters by the south gate is to go out through the north gate. No one is to return through the gate by which they entered, but each is to go out the opposite gate. And then in verse 10, she also goes on and gets something from this too. The prince is to be among them, going in where they go in and going out when they go out. Carolyn pointed out how that when she comes and she spends time, whether it be here at church or alone with the Lord at home or any event where she comes in, she feels like she comes in, she enters the presence of the Lord, and then when she goes out, she is someone new, completely new. And this really spurred in her just this feeling that she gets on a Sunday morning when she comes to church, or on a Wednesday when she comes to Bible study, or when she comes to an Eden event on a Friday night. How when she comes in and she spends that time with the Lord, she goes out a totally changed person. And this is true for her too when she enters into the presence with the Lord at home, when she is doing her reading plan or she's doing a different study. And this is so true, and this is kind of what rang to her too. And I love how she shared that with us. And just a mental note that if the Lord shows you something awesome in what you're reading, we want to hear about that too. You can always shoot me an email, you can call me up, you can come on over. In fact, she came over and dropped this information by so that I could share it with you today. All right, you guys, well, on to what we're reading this week. This week, we will be heading into the return from exile. So at this point, the Israelites had been in exile for anywhere between 50 and 70 years, depending on who you're talking to and what groups of people are coming out. Because after about 50 years, Cyrus the Great decided that he would let them go. And a few of the leaders left in droves of people, and they decided to go back to Israel and start to begin the work to rebuild the temple, to rebuild the city, and to rebuild the walls. And we'll see as we read through the books of Ezra and Nehemiah how these people, these Israelites who wanted to rebuild so badly, actually come up against even more opposition. They still are coming up against opposition, and we learn that even though these books are filled with the hope of the promises of the Lord, it is still pretty evident that the people's hearts are not fully surrendered to the Lord. And that actually ultimately is why they keep coming up against the opposition. It's this whole learning that for whatever reason, exile is exile. When we are not surrendered before the Lord, we are in exile. When our hearts are not given over to Him, we are in exile, even if we are released to go home. We also get to spend some time in the book of Esther, which is a really powerful book where God is not even mentioned once, but Esther shows a lot of strength and a lot of courage to fight for her people. It's going to be a really awesome and powerful week, you guys. So make sure with whatever you get, you reach out to us and let us know. Maybe you have some questions about what you're reading or something awesome that the Lord shows you. And until next week, we can't wait to hear from you. We can't wait to read alongside of you. Hang in there and keep chipping away through this reading plan. You can always email me at shannon@livingwordoakharbor.com, or like I said, swing on by or give me a call. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.